Well, thank you very much for spending your time today with me. I know you're going to hear a lot of presentations today. If I can leave you with one message, it's that Lovegrain is a new kind of food company that puts people and the planet first. So Lovegrain, just to summarize, captures value from selling delicious food products in the US market and taking that value to Ethiopia to fund our agricultural activities. The first product we're working with is an ancient grain called teff. I got to know teff when I worked for the Ethiopian Agricultural Transformation Agency. It's the tiniest grain in the world. And it also has a really high nutritional profile. So it's very high in protein, fiber, calcium, vitamins and minerals, and just happens to be gluten-free. It's planted in a way where farmers broadcast it. This is one of the projects I worked on. They plant teff seeds at a 30 to 50 kilogram seed rate, which actually depletes its ability to grow higher yields. So ironically, by planting fewer seeds, we can grow more teff. And this was the crux of the project I worked on in Ethiopia. And there's 6 million farmers in Ethiopia that grow teff. One of the farmers I got to know is a woman named Tigist. Tigist's name means patience in Amharic, but she's really been waiting too long for change in her life. We walked on her fields. The fields her family had been plowing for generations. The soil has been eroded. The fertility of the soil is depleted because she can't afford fertilizers. She can't afford seed that's more productive, so she uses old seeds that she recycles from last year's harvest. And then at planting, or at harvest, she chooses to sell to middlemen because she uses cash so badly. These middlemen offer her a price that is 25% lower than the wholesale price. This is a cycle of poverty that persists year after year in rural Ethiopia. But it's more than just about Tigist. This is about a system that affects all of us. Across the world, there's over 75 million square miles of land that are less fertile and less productive. By 2030, we're going to need to produce 30% more grain to feed our growing population. In Ethiopia, farmers just like Tigist only produce 50% of the income that they actually need to lead themselves out of poverty. But more than just these facts and figures, I'm personally invested in this problem. My mother's family spent 3 generations in East Africa. And when I traveled and spent time working in rural Kenya, they focused on water. But when I was talking to communities, I realized that what they cared most about and what affected their lives most deeply was agriculture. And that's what set me to Ethiopia, to work on a new agricultural project to help double agricultural production in Ethiopia. And that's why I'm here to work on Lovegrain. That's what I'm really passionate about. I care about it because I spent time there, because I saw opportunities for change. We don't have to think about Ethiopia as a poverty-stricken famine place. And that's why I'm here today, is to talk to you, to gain your advice, to seek catalytic funding from this prize, to go to Ethiopia and create a new kind of food company that helps to improve the planet and the people that live on it. So what would Tigist's life look like if she were a Lovegrain farmer? At planting, Tigist would be able to receive training from the Ethiopian Agricultural Transformation Agency. It would teach her the techniques to plant teff in a new way, in rows rather than broadcasting it. This will help her double her yields. Lovegrain will prepay her seed and fertilizer to the Oromia Seed Enterprise. So Tigist can just go pick up organic fertilizer and improved seed. Combining those things with training and these improved inputs will double her harvest. Instead of producing 1,200 kilograms of teff per hectare, she'll be able to produce 2,400 kilograms of teff per hectare. This is tremendous. Because she'll have a higher yield, at harvest she'll be able to leave some of the straw from the crop on the land. This will return some of the Earth's natural nutrients back to the soil, revitalizing its fertility. And then instead of purchasing from middlemen, Lovegrain will purchase directly from Tigist and her farmers, giving her access to a price that's 25% higher than what she normally gets. As a result, we'll be able to triple Tigist's profits. So that means next January, Tigist will have 3 times the income in her pocket than she would otherwise. This will allow her to pay for school fees for her kids, buy medicine when she needs it, and diversify her diet. But it's more than about Tigist. It's about all the farmers that can be part of the Love Grain network. But in 4 to 5 years, we expect to be working with over 4,000 farmers and have created over $400,000 in profits directly for these farmers. That's the beauty of the Love Grain business model. It's really scalable, and it works to address lots and lots of people. And what underpins all of this is the way we turn value chains into value cycles. We see an interrelationship between the earth, the environment, food, and people. And it's a system that we believe needs to change. And that's why we're starting Love Grain. But we see Love Grain's growth in 3 phases. The first is to build a market, to find customers here in the US for Tigist's product. That's where we are today, and I'll talk about that soon. But this summer, we're returning to Ethiopia to work on our sourcing pilot to source directly from Tigist and her neighboring farmers from her cooperative. At the end of the day, we expect to contribute to Ethiopia's agricultural growth. We don't want to just export raw grain out of the country. We want to help build a food processing facility in Ethiopia to export value-added products to the rest of the world, including the East Africa region. Once we have a facility there, we can help produce food that will be beneficial to everybody in East Africa. So here's the market. There's over 50 million people in the US that could be eating Love Grain. That's based upon a large group of gluten-free consumers, but also people who are interested in healthy eating. We've seen this opportunity take place with other grains like quinoa. For instance, quinoa has exploded over the last 10 years. Just imagine that TEF is in 2006 and ready to take off in the US. Based upon this proxy analysis, we believe that the total market opportunity for Love Grain is about $200 million. I think this is also a good time to talk about how we're different from quinoa. We've talked to quinoa companies before, and we think that they actually are still sourcing from middlemen. A lot of them are still just doing foundation projects on the side, irrigation products, but they're not building the farmer into their business model. They're not financing seed and fertilizer for them. They're not improving the soil in Bolivia. They're not sourcing directly from these farmers. And that's why Love Grain is different. We've also seen reports in the media that farmers in Bolivia aren't eating enough quinoa. But what we've actually seen through a lot of research conducted by development economists at MIT, such as Esther Duflo and Abergene Banerjee, is that when the poor get rich, they diversify their diets. In a recent Slate article, they talked about how Bolivian farmers are still eating 1/10 of the quinoa they produce, but they're using their income to buy other grains. And what happens in Ethiopia is that when farmers get rich, instead of eating bread that's 25% teff-based, they eat bread that's 50% or 100% teff-based. So the more income these farmers have, the more teff they'll actually be able to eat. So why will Love Grain succeed in the US marketplace? It's because we differentiate on brand, taste, and nutrition. Most of the brands in the gluten-free marketplace are like Glutino. They're sciencey, they're all-white packaging, evokes unnatural, highly processed foods. The Love Grain brand is designed to evoke a return to Earth's natural nutrients, a return to farmers, to the planet, to the source of our food. We also stack up really well against other gluten-free food products. We have more fiber, more protein, more vitamins and minerals than them. And we just taste great. That's our first product right there. You can pass it around and take it away. But this is what's going to be able to keep Love Grain different and potent in the US marketplace. So how do we get to our customers? We've talked a lot about our partnership with farmers in Ethiopia, but we use an existing distribution channel in the US to get the product to market to Whole Foods around the country and to consumers' hands. The point is that we really create value for everybody who touches the Love Grain product, starting with our farmers. So we launched our first product this December and have been getting fantastic reviews. We sold over 1,000 units of this pancake and waffle mix. We really saw it as a proof of concept to test the hypothesis whether Love Grain could actually sell US products based on teff under a brand that resonated with its consumers. But this data speaks for itself. We have a gross margin of over 60%. 9 out of 10 of our customers say they would repurchase Love Grain, and we have a net promoter score of over 75, which means that the people are really likely to recommend this product to their friends and family. And that's really how we've been getting most of our traction, is through referrals. But Love Grain is more than just a pancake and waffle mix. We really see a whole portfolio of products, including breakfast mixes, lunch cups, pastas, tortillas, protein bars. We're working on a delicious protein bar right now to help us move out of a sort of slow-moving category and into a faster-moving, ready-to-eat product. So, and I can tell you about a couple of our customers. Through this process, we've identified 2 types of customers that get a lot of value out of our products. The first is a gluten-free or celiac customer named Lou, who lives in Cambridge. He buys 10 packages of Love Grain every month since we released the package. And that's because he has so few options. And Love Grain really tastes great, and it gives him the nutrition that he needs to keep himself going throughout the day. Another one of our customers is a woman named Cindy. Cindy's a yoga mom in Vail, Colorado. She teaches yoga in the summer and is a ski instructor in the winter. And she buys Love Grain week after week because it enables her to live the healthier life that she wants to live. So these are just 2 of our customers that are part of our larger target demographic that we believe can help us get to 50 million customers in the US. So how do we reach all these customers? We have a proven path to scale. We've been working with our advisors who run food companies, who've run products to the US, across the US retail markets. We start in individual retail channels, in small independent stores around Boston. And once we demonstrate traction there, we start graduating into Whole Foods regionally and moving into region after region, and eventually into traditional grocery, and at the end of the day, into club. This is the model that gets us to scale. And it's accompanied by a marketing campaign that allows us to move off the shelves. So when we're seeking our first customers, we're leveraging PR opportunities, we're doing demos in stores, and then by the time we're at regional levels, national levels, we're taking on celebrity chefs, we're building a national brand. So just last week on Tuesday, we got featured in a New York magazine called Cool Hunting. It was great. Orders started rolling in from all over the country. And what was even more exciting is the next day, the Whole Foods regional buyer from the Rocky Mountain region reached out to us and said, we're interested in carrying your product. We've got a phone call scheduled with her next week, but it's a little bit faster than we anticipated. But it's all the more reason why we're here today, to get your advice and to look for the support that we need to take Ethiopian farmers onto the shelves across the US. So, oftentimes people ask us, how are you going to stay true to your mission? And it's something that we thought quite deeply about. We decided to incorporate as a benefit corporation. Benefit corporations are required to release an annual report every year explaining the benefit, have a benefit director who monitors that. But at the end of the day, the reason I really wanted to be a benefit corporation is because our mandate is to return value to all of our stakeholders, not only to our shareholders and investors. That means that we can continue to focus on Tigist and the cooperatives that she and her neighbors are a part of. Before I worked on agriculture projects, I worked for Innovations for Poverty Action in Kenya. They did independent evaluations of agriculture companies in Kenya. One of the projects they worked on tried to smooth income consumption for sugarcane farmers. They showed how they could help pay farmers before their harvest, improve their yields, and track it on an individual farmer basis through randomized control trials. We have relationships with IPA, and I think they would be a fantastic partner to do independent evaluations of Love Grain's work, to monitor our food outcomes, our environmental outcomes, as well as our incomes on farms. So we believe through soil testing, monitoring food plots, and by tracking farmer income, we can demonstrate our impact in a really scalable, approachable way. So Love Grain's headed down a path. We're still in its early days. We're here today to seek funding and advice to help us launch a second product, protein bar, and to begin our sourcing pilot with the Arar Farmers Cooperative in Ethiopia. We believe this is on the way to a larger seed round funding of $650,000 that'll help us get to break even in year 3 and eventually get to $6 million in revenue in year 4. In the long run, we believe the way to really magnify our impact is through an acquisition by a strategic international food processor who wants to acquire our conscious supply chain and our sourcing model. I've seen this in Ethiopia. For instance, when Diageo bought a share of an Ethiopian state brewery, they initiated a conscious supply chain to purchase directly from barley cooperatives. So we're not selling out by selling to an international food processor. We actually believe we're magnifying our impact and our distribution and our scale. So we have the right team to do this. My co-founder Caroline, who's out of town this weekend, is gluten-free. She's been gluten-free for 4 years. She understands this market. But she's also worked in microfinance. She's worked in the State Department, run communications there, and run the Open Government Partnership. She knows how to set up companies too. We've built a team of strategic advisors who help to get products in front of the stores across the US. We haven't launched a product across the US ourselves, but we've got a team of partners and supporters who can help us do it. In Ethiopia, my former employers will help us work with farmers, and we're bringing in folks who've got distribution and logistics experience. So with that, I'd love to tell your questions and tell you more about how we put people and the planet at the heart of everything we do at Lovegrain.
Aleem, good presentation. I have lots of questions, but let me just start with distribution. I think you pointed out that in case of Whole Foods, you got connected with one particular Whole Food area, and yet I think it's kind of interesting because if you're going to scale, distribution is going to be one of your challenges. And Whole Food is probably as good an example as any. How do you propose to scale? How do you propose to address your distribution?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question.
And then I have a follow-up question involving manufacturing or partnering.
So when we started out on this, I reached out to one of our advisors, who was the director of sales at Sambazan. It's a natural juice company. And he explained that the progression to graduating to scale is by starting in Whole Foods, demonstrating traction for about a year, build your product portfolio there, move off the shelves, and then once you've got a demonstrated track record, to graduate into the gluten-free section of Kroger, of Safeway, of Giant, of more traditional retail. And then from there, you spend about another year and a half in that section, moving product, and then pick one or two products that are the best selling into a larger size, an economy size, move into these larger retailers like Costco and Sam's Club. And so it's sort of a 12 to 16 month process in any one of these stores where we build traction, move products off the shelves, find the winners, and graduate the bigger one, or the best selling ones, to the next level of chains. And it's really about the brand at the end of the day. He said to me, Aleem, look at the shelves, on the chocolate section. There's 12 different types of chocolate. They're all chocolate. They have a little bit of cocoa. They have different cocoa levels, but they're all about brand at the end of the day. So build a brand that's defensible and unique. And I know you have a question about production. We're running a little short on time.
Aleem,
yes.
Since we're talking about healthy lifestyle here with your product, I think instead of some of the other channels, I would be focusing on healthy lifestyle type of outlets. And in Whole Foods, I would be writing directly to John Mackey, who is very committed to the concept of all stakeholders benefiting from it. Now, in terms of partnering, have you considered, in view of your background, partnering with Aga Khan? They are the big gorilla. They have a great deal of interest. They have deep pockets. Why not partner with them?
No, absolutely. They've got great agricultural production in Kenya and Tanzania, Uganda, and sending haricot beans. Frivoken is one of their brands they send to Europe. They're unfortunately not doing much work out of Ethiopia, and so. I think there's a lot of knowledge that we could be sharing across their companies and across their portfolio. And I think there's.
Do you need introduction to some of the people?
I think we need introductions at the right level.
Please speak with me because
Okay.
I'm having lunch with the Director General 2 days from now in Vancouver.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. Sounds like fun.
I think we're running out of time,
Yep.
but my question is, over at the farm level,
Yeah.
we haven't said anything about crop rotations.
Yeah.
You had mentioned fertilizer, but fertilizer costs are going up. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, no, that's true. So Ethiopian farmers typically, well, I'll just talk, let me keep on slide. Ethiopian farmers typically crop rotate teff with chickpeas and legumes over a 3-year cycle. And that helps refix some of the nitrogen to the fields, and they're already doing this because it's part of their diets. They eat teff with injera and shira, which is made of chickpeas. And so that's an important part of what's traditionally already going on in Ethiopia. And right, crop rotation is critical to that soil health.
Can I?
Yeah. You can bug them later. They're close.
We'll be around all day.